I've not looked at enough. Well, I've looked at a fair amount actually of undersea features, and none of them kind of call out to me like this one. However, there is one,
Okay.
and this is very interesting too. So my old office, NOAA, and its subordinate office I mentioned earlier, the Office of Ocean Exploration and Research, that has the ship Okeanos Explorer, dives and explores with an ROV, partners with Bob Ballard, pays him some money, etc. Well, that office was exploring in the Pacific a year or two ago. I don't remember exactly when, and it came across a very interesting feature. And a New York Times article was just published about it. There's a series of small little holes that almost look like they're man-made, and it's very linear, and each one doesn't look natural, really. It looks.
I've seen a picture.
Yes,
You
exactly.
can probably find it and put it up. Yeah.
Right. I think I was at NOAA when they came upon that and took the video, and I only wish on board they dug into it. They have equipment. They have mechanical arms that can look under the seabed, and I wish they did. But they didn't. They just recorded the video and moved on and kind of raised a question mark.
Was that on a fault line at all? That was my first thought. It almost looked like perhaps there was some kind of void under there and the sand was going in.
No, I don't know if it's a fault line, but fault line features are much larger.
Yeah.
This looked like some mechanical thing, right? Do you see it?
It was hard to really get too much context because it's just a picture on the water, so it's hard to say how big it was when I saw it myself. But we'll put it up so people can judge themselves. But it did look artificial.
Well, it did. It looked artificial. And the interesting thing about that is, so I have seen hours of video of the seabed taken by that ROV and live and post-processed. Nothing. I mean, natural seabed topology, whether it be deep coral or geological features, et cetera, volcanic, I've seen it all. Okay, that is, I've never seen anything like that.
Interesting.
I know. And so that's another one to go back and look at.
Very cool. Thank you.
There's been a lot of excitement about these holes. One of the things we're interested in is how almost perfectly aligned these are, and the regularity of the spacing of the holes and the size of the holes themselves.
And the shape of the holes. I will still say the angularity, the rectangularness.
Right, I agree. I mean, my first thought also is that looks something man-made. They're so perfectly spaced. I mean, why would it always be that spacing? If you look in the fossil record, there are also indications of similar sorts of features. And so this suggests that there's an organism that has been making these sorts of features for a very long time. In the paper that Mike Vecchione and his colleague wrote, they were at about 2,000 meters, I believe.
We've got no idea what makes these things. That we don't even know if they're made by something underneath the surface, making a tunnel, occasionally punching up a hole, or if they're made by something walking along the surface and punching down through the sediment. It's a mystery, basically.
It's clear that everybody does love a mystery, the public and scientists including. So as the public has been hypothesizing about what might have caused these holes in social media put up by our wonderful partners at the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration, scientists have also been chatting back and forth about possible mechanisms to create these holes, and we've heard everything from deep ocean floats to gastropods.
I had an interesting email that suggested that something had laid some eggs subsurface, and when those eggs hatch, basically they create those eruptive mounds. Whales feeding in the bottom, beaked whales specifically.
I think I'm going with the idea that there's probably a tunnel connecting these underneath the surface.
I'm really still hoping that I'll hear from either a member of the scientific community or a member of the public with an explanation that is just spot on,
perfect,
incontrovertible.
Can't be disputed.
Yeah, it just makes complete sense because we've had a number of them, and they all, well, not all, but a lot of them have strong merits to them, but none of them are what I would say conclusive.